Okay, let's talk about something I haven't wanted to talk about in the past. I've actually come across studies about this because I'm thinking, how many people do this? Is this really a big issue? Well, yes, it is. We're going to talk about sports gambling. Apparently, it's really widespread. And it's really popular. And right now, sports gambling can happen on your computer. It can happen on your phone. So you don't have to go anymore to like a off-track betting parlor. You can actually just enter on your phone or go online and place bets for sports. So,
quick question.
Yeah.
Is fantasy football and stuff, is that gambling on sports?
If you're paying money, if you're getting money back,
I don't know much about it, but I know like people play it. But yeah, it is. Okay.
Betting, yeah.
If you're betting, yeah. This would be, you have to be betting. I mean, like the fantasy football could be just for fun, but I don't know anyone who does it just for fun. There's
why would it?
There's at least $1 or $5 or
Right.
Okay, 20. So just to clarify, that's part of it. Just wanted to make sure. I wasn't.
You have a problem, Brian?
No, I don't even know how to do the whole fantasy.
A lot of guy fantasies involve money for some reason.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so there is a problem. So do you guys gamble? I'm
a sore loser.
I don't sports gamble, but I do gamble like slots.
Okay. You gamble slots. Well, this might be of some interest to you. I am not a big gambler. I don't really care for it. I'm not really even a sore loser. I don't know. I get really irritated with it. And I have to say, and I understand why
That's a sore loser.
What?
That's a sore loser.
Maybe. Because you never feel bad when you win, I suppose. I guess that's like, yay, I won. But yeah, maybe. No, I could go into that. This works on a different principle. It's a variable ratio reinforcement. Nobody has to know that. But basically, gambling is you don't know when the payoff is coming and you don't know how much you're going to get. That is variable ratio reinforcement. So that is very, very hard learned. So it's why gambling gets really set in there as a behavioral addiction. It is not a light thing, and that some people have a very, very severe problem with it. And we can't say that it's not a real addiction, because this is what we call a behavioral addiction, and it takes over and can take over strongly, especially when it's happening in things like your phone or your computer. Then your phone and your computer become associated with that gambling. So this can be really a big thing. So sports gambling has exploded over the last few years. And University of Nevada, Las Vegas, of course, UNLV, and the University of Mexico decided to do a study of the phenomenon, and their work was published in JAMA Network Open. So they wanted to look at sports gambling. What's this new phenomenon? I know I've been to Vegas, and they'll have they'll have the board up with the football players, or they'll have, whatever thing they're betting on for sports, but it has just exploded. So the study took place over the course of 3 weeks in the spring of 2022. And if you'll remember correctly, spring of 2022, we were just emerging from the pandemic. So people probably had not been spending a lot. So they probably had some cash to spare. And they were itching to get out into the world. Researchers surveyed more than 4,300 adults across the United States. Nearly 3,300 reported a past year of alcohol use. So that's like, 3/4 of the people said they drank alcohol at some point in the past year. And about 1,800 identified themselves as gamblers who had bet on sports in the past year, which to me was a huge number. Out of 4,300, 1,800, that's, what, about 20% there? I mean, it's a very close, I'm sorry, not 20%. What am I saying? It's close to 50, but I didn't do a percentage, but it's up there. It's under 50, but it's getting up there. Anyway, so the results: sports gamblers were 1.9 times more likely to report consuming in excess of alcohol. That's like twice as much as they're more likely, and that's defined by 5 or more drinks in men or 4 or more drinks in women at a single time. So if you have 5 or more drinks or 4 or more drinks, if you're a sports gambler, you're almost twice as likely to binge drink as people who are not sports gamblers. So said another way, sports gamblers are twice as likely to binge drink. Oh, I wrote this out for myself. Compared to non-gamblers and gamblers who do not bet on sports. So it didn't matter if you're a gambler who doesn't bet on sports or a non-gambler. You're not going to binge drink as much as the sports gamblers will. And this kind of this confirms some previous research into the association between binge drinking and sports gambling. And it looks like people who are sports gamblers have an increased risk taking overall. Like, yeah, they're willing to go right out there and do it. So what does this tell us? I mean, does this tell us an answer? It kind of just points out a problem. And sometimes when we can point out problems, we can sound very smart, but we don't necessarily have an answer. And it does point out, though, that sports gambling, it may not be as innocent as it looks, and making gambling very accessible is only going to deepen the problem. And where does drinking happen? Well, drinking happens everywhere. We can drink at home, we can drink at a bar, we can drink here, we can drink there. But if there's sports gambling allowed, then things can really get much worse.
In sports, it's kind of like a culture surrounded around drinking, I would say, where that's part of the thing too, you know?
Well, there's certainly sports bars, and that is a big piece.
Or like tailgating, and while you're at the games and stuff, people are just drinking. It's part of sports, I would say, right?
That I would say you're absolutely correct. Yes, absolutely correct. And you know, we've all gone to games and gotten a giant beer. Maybe only I have, but
I don't even drink, and I still would.
Well, just me then.